What is going on with that video? What do you think the vice president's trying to accomplish?
Well, there are two calls that we did this week with the vice president. One was for donors, as you mentioned. I think that actually may have been from the grassroots call that was done to volunteers
is that right?
and supporters around the country. And the purpose of these kind of calls, especially now, is to remind people that gave it their all for a year or for the 107 days that she was the top of the ticket, who volunteered, who put in countless hours, 18-hour days, moved to Wilmington or moved to a battleground state or moved across their own state to volunteer, that the work you did mattered. And sometimes you run a good race and a hard race and come out on the wrong side of a tight election. In this case, I think we did. But I think you want to tell folks, stay involved, stay engaged, don't be dispirited, and stay in the fight. That's really the purpose of a video like that.
Okay, and this is Washington. We're always looking at things through the prism of the next election.
Of course.
Is she making an effort to keep her profile up there or keep her donor network alive in anticipation of a future run?
I think people just want to be thanked and hear from the candidate in this moment. I mean, we're entering the season of thanks, Mike, as you pointed out, right?
I've heard, yes, and here we are.
And I just want to say about the campaign itself, you know, across the battleground states with the million unique volunteers we had, giving it their all, we did cut the margins from the national race. A headwind of 6 or 7 points nationally was only about 2 points in the battleground states. That's a hard thing to message when you don't win. But you have to tell the folks, look, you did a lot of work. It moved the needle. It did matter. Stay engaged.
Okay. So the pod bros, what do they call them? Pfeiffer and those guys?
Pods of America, yes.
Pods of America. Okay.
Yes.
So a number of your colleagues on the campaign.
Yep.
We're talking to the pod, I guess a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Stephanie Cutter, David Plouffe. Help me out here. I can't remember.
Quentin Folks and Jenna Melly Dillon, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Top officials in the campaign.
Yep.
They said it wasn't Lynn Cheney turning off progressives. It wasn't the stance on trans athletes in boys' sports or girls' sports, things of that nature. But it was simply a lack of time before the convention, trying to put together a campaign on the fly. It wasn't the separation or lack of separation with President Biden. You buying all that?
I think in a race this close, it's easy to point at one thing and decide, look, this is the smoking gun. There's no smoking gun. There's 107 days. She becomes the nominee. She races out there to have her first event. She's got to pick Tim Walz. She has to go on a ticket tour across 7 battleground states. She has to run the convention, prepare for debate, and after all that, you're less than 50 days left in the election. I think the campaign did an excellent job of prosecuting the race in terms of putting stuff out there for voters and doing incredible voter contact, 20 million doors, 2,500 staff, more than 1 million unique volunteers, as I said.
Okay.
But in a race that tight, Mike, not everything's going to go your way, and Donald Trump had higher approval ratings. The American people thought of his first term in office pretty favorably at the end of the day. I think it took more effort than we had to get those negatives down and make that contrast apparent. And there was a lot that could have gone our way that didn't. At the end of the day, it's a very tight race that we didn't come out on top on.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze this in. You were last on our show in August during the DNC convention, and here's what you say. I think we have a soundbite.
I think we will win this tough race that we're underdogs in because of that on-the-ground infrastructure and respect for voters.
All right. I think you just went over this, but what went wrong?
Well, so on that point, Mike, I do want to say this pretty clearly, right? When the national headwinds, and this is the data, move against you by 5 to 7 points, New Jersey went 11 points more Republican than in 2020. But you hold the battlegrounds to a point or two instead of moving 5 or 6 points. And remember, no one thought we could win this race if we lost the popular vote. That was a done story. But the fact that we kept it close despite those headwinds, I think is evidence that that ground game did work. It wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Wow. I could talk about this all night long with you, Dan. I appreciate it, but it's Thanksgiving's coming up.
Good to see you, Mike.
All right, appreciate you being here very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.